In the previous episode, we made use of the clay wastage from the glass factory that we ended up compacting, baking, and getting some terracotta that we then went ahead and covered to create the terracotta factory. But even though we have built planned for this area, we're going to leave it behind and head for some greener pastures where we will be building a greenhouse that we'll use to gather all these flowers, all in preparation for a future project. So a greenhouse. We will be building a greenhouse so we can build a flower farm so we can get some flowers. And where will we do that? Well, currently we're based in this area over here. If we follow this train track, we'll get to the mesa over here. And if we just go straight up from the mesa, we have a flower forest in that area over there. So we will be building a flower farm, I think, in this area because it's a straight connection all the way to the mesa, which we will need in the future. So for now, there's no easy way to get there. And I am planning on building a train, but it's not going to be this episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop on down, come into the room, and I took the liberty of connecting up a few of these wall plates. So if we need to go to the flower forest, we can just stand over here and boop, we're right over here in the flower forest. But before we can build anything over here, I guess you guys can see we need to clear out a bunch of trees. So I'm just gonna grab my pickaxe, put on some music, and just rip out a bunch of trees, and I'll see you guys as soon as I'm done. So we've cleared out a big enough area, and we're not going to gather all the flowers. I mainly actually want the cornflowers, and all these other ones are an added bonus. So what we need to do now is maybe level out the terrain a bit, get some digging done in this area, and then we can build ourselves a little flower farm. But I want to try and dig out this hole in a different way. And we're going to do it via schematic. So let me set it up and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so we have the schematic in place, and as you guys can see, we're going to gather some cornflowers. We'll get some of the grey daisies there. We'll get some tulips over here, 3 different types. Some of those little flowers and even the alliums. But a part of this is underground and we need to take out that part. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take the schematic now that it's in place. We're going to pop it into the cannon. And we're going to go to the printer settings and we're going to pick replace solid with empties. So basically what that means is as soon as the cannon approaches one of these blocks, and it's not supposed to be a solid block, it's supposed to be air, it's just going to replace it with nothing. So in theory, it should dig out the hole, but the only way we will know is if I can put in some gunpowder, get all the resources together, and just test it. So I'm going to test it. I don't know if it's going to be possible to do a montage because it goes from the bottom up, but let's see what we can do. And with that, I would say it works. It's definitely something different from your normal digging of a hole, but it worked and everything we need is in place. So what I can now basically do is gather all the create components, place them in place, get everything automated, get some power in here, and then we are almost there. We are almost ready to start a flower farm. But there are a few extra buildings that we need to do and a bit of preparation we have to do for those. But I think let's first build the flower farm base and then we'll plan the other components that need to get added. So let's gather some resources. Okay, we have all the resources and it's time to get building. So first things first, on these blocks, we're going to place deployers and we just want to make sure, that they're facing the right direction. So basically this is wrong. They just need to go up like that. Like this. So we have the filter on the side and the input on the length of this form. So now we can just go ahead and just do those, and then we do the same on the other side. And then while we have them in, we just want to make sure that their filter is set to bone meal because we really just want them to take bone meal. Then on the inside of each of these deployers, we're going to stick a funnel. So now we've got the deployers that will be deploying the bone meal, and we have the funnels that will put the bone meal into the deployers. But now we need to add the belts that will transfer all the bone meals. So on each of these, we'll have only 2 like this on either side. And in the center line, we will actually have a belt running down the center like this and like that. So if I were to add belts, this would look like that would look like that, and this will look like this, and this will just continue past all the way to the end. So simple like that. So I'm going to quickly repeat all of that. So now we've got the transportation of the bone meal along the belt and the distribution setup, but we need to add tunnels onto these intersections. Make sure they're set to round robin, so that way one bone meal will go this way, the next one will go that way, and the last one will go that way. And we'll repeat, thus ensuring that we do distribution throughout the system until it fills up. So now we're just going to do that on all these intersections, and that's it. So from here on, we will have a system that just takes the bone meal back to that side into a different farm that I want to set up maybe in that area. I'll just see where that goes. And then we can also then repeat the process where we take it back and just recycle it so it goes back all the way over there and then comes through the system again. The next thing we need to do is hook up all these deployers. So I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to run a shaft along these in between all of these deployers like so. And then we're going to repeat it on the other side just like that. Now we've got all the deployers. And over here, we're going to pop down a gearbox, and we're just going to run another set of shafts all the way to here with another gearbox on edge. That way we have one power input, and that should power everything else. But you see, one power input would be okay if we were only going to power the deployers from this point, but instead we're going to have a system that runs back and forth. So we're going to add another point of power on this side over here, so we're going to have to add another gearbox. We will not be connecting this one to that side because we already have it connected there, so it will be unnecessary. So this should do. Next step, we're going to do a temporary block over there, a clutch on top, followed by a vertical gearbox facing into it. And this will basically be the thing that powers the system and allows the deployers to fire. And we're going to repeat this little gadget all the way over there. So there we have it, 2 power points. When the machine reaches this side, it will power, and it will force everything on all the deployers to fire, and it will return, and once it reaches that side, it will do exactly the same. It'll touch that base, it'll force all the deployers to fire, and repeat the whole process. So the way we're going to power these little contact points is with some redstone contacts. So the first thing we'll do is we'll put a piece of redstone down there, and we'll put a redstone contact on top of it, and we just need to make sure that it's facing the right direction. So let's just do that, because it needs to face up like that. And that's it, just like that. So once the machine comes over, the contact point touches, it will send a signal down here. So how that's going to work is we're going to have redstone run down. We're going to have it run all the way over here. Over here, we're going to put down a powered latch, which will then turn on. And the powered latch is quite simple. Power going in this side will turn it on like it's now, and power going in on this side will turn it off. So technically, whenever the contraption comes over, it touches the redstone contact, it will send a little link, it will unpower this, making sure the clutch will allow these deployers to fire, but then we need to turn them back off again. So all we're going to do is we're just going to add a little pulse repeater. We're going to put it to 30 ticks, and then we're just going to do redstone there, redstone there. So basically, again, it'll fire, this will turn off, the deployers will run, and after 30 ticks, this will fire again, turning it back on. So that's it. That's it for the little redstone part. But now we need to repeat all of this on that side. So now we have the little contraptions that will power the deployers set up on both sides. And we have one more thing to do over here. First of all, we need to transfer power from this belt to that belt to ensure that they'll continue taking the power. And then we just need to add a shaft in every single one of these corners, followed by 2 gearboxes on both sides. So that's again, shaft, gearbox, gearbox, and just running all the way down the line. And how are we going to power this system? Well, with water wheels. So right over here, we're going to put our little rotational speed controller, and we're just going to add a bunch of wheels running all the way down here. I think it's 10 exactly. We're going to put our bigger chain drive in there. We're going to change this up to 64. And then from here, we're just going to send the power over here, where we'll rip out the temporary little block. We'll put that one in over there, add a little vertical gearbox, and that should be powered on this side. Now, to power the other contact point on that side, we're just going to come to the back over here, give ourselves a gearbox, And then we're just going to run shafts all the way over there. Once we reach that point, this point, it will be a gearbox, vertical gearbox, remove that, and add that. And now this point is also powered. So these gearboxes, these shafts will run at all times, but they'll only fire once we touch that contact point, which will only then deploy the bone meal via the deployers. Next step, we need to hook up this little pot over here. So what we'll do is we'll rip this one out, put in a gearbox, vertical gearbox, and a shaft. And that should be it. That should be everything powered and ready to go. I have 2 blocks over here because these 2 blocks just only shows which side we should place the water for everything to turn the right direction. So let's grab some water and get the system powered. So now that we've got the water in, the water wheels, we can see everything's turning and everything's going. The shaft controlling the deployers are standing still, they're not moving, but the one down there and running over there is moving. So now we're just going to place a redstone contact. It's very important. It needs to be placed and broken immediately, otherwise the contraption will break. And that's exactly what will happen with the contraption harvesting the flowers. It'll come over, it'll touch the point and will instantly move. It will not stop here at all. So if we place this down, break it, you see it fires, and then it stops, which I think is just the right amount of time on 30 ticks over there, but we will test it a bit more. But that's basically it for this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a vault, put some bone meal in there, and then I'm going to add the grass, and we can maybe see if the firing mechanism works and if we can get some flowers growing on top of grass. So we didn't have any grass, so I had to cover all of this with dirt and had to wait for the grass to grow. And while we waited for that to grow, I went ahead and dug this little hole and prepared this area for the bone meal part of this farm. So between episodes, whenever I go caving and I find a skeleton spawner, I pick it up and I just put it in my inventory for if and when we'll use it, and we finally got to a point where we'll use it. So we're just going to do a basic mob farm over here with mobs getting pushed over. They'll go into this mechanical saw, which will then saw them up and kill them. All their parts will go into this vault. Bone meal will go down into system. It will get destroyed with the grind molds. The other stuff will end up in lava in this area, and the bone meal will come up all the way to this area over here, where it will enter the storage system, and from there into the vault and distributed along this belt over here. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is fill this up with a bunch of bones that we brought from the other spawn over there, and then we can test the bone meal part of it. And then this little part I'll build off camera, maybe do a little montage, because we've done a mob farm before and there's no need to repeat that. So let's quickly get the bone meal in, test this. So I've powered up the system and we finally have bone meal going into the system, and it looks like it's distributing properly. So that one should go straight on. Yes. And the next one that comes through should turn to the right. There we go. I do think we can maybe put this up a bit higher. Let's make it maybe 16. And let's just make it split. I don't think we should make it round robin, because now it will split, but these are full, so it will rather send on to the next one. Okay, so I'm going to finish all of these. I'm going to wait for it to fill up, and then we can test the whole farm and see if it produces flowers. Okay, so we need to simulate the machine going over this. So I've got the redstone contact in my offhand. So if we place this down and mine it instantly, we get flowers. And it doesn't look like a lot now, but if this runs passively in the background, it will eventually add up and should get quite a lot of flowers. We don't need that much. If we can do one draw filled up, I think that's about 512 flowers. That will be more than enough. But now, like I said, let's quickly get that mob farm in and get it closed off so we can just get bone meal farm going as well. So the mob farm's working. We've got skeletons being crushed. It is a bit light over there, but I do think it's because of the lava. So I might see if I can sort that out somehow. But apart from that, we have some skeletons getting crushed. We've got bone meal flowing in, and it's slowly climbing up, which is good. I will add more skeleton spawners if we find them. But the next part we need to do is harvest the flowers. And for that, we're going to have to get a contraption that runs from one side to the other side. And I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to use a minecart contraption to make this work. So I think we need to gather the resource. I've got some of it on me already, but I need to go through my inventory, see what I have and what I want to use, and then I'll bring you guys back and we start building this. I got a bunch of resources gathered up and I'm ready to build this harvester. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, this is the center of the farm and I know that the contact point's over there. So we're going to start with that and we're going to place our contact point facing down like that. And let's just clear out this row next to it because technically this is where the harvesters need to go. We're then going to run a row of andesite casing along here all the way. And I think we can even change one or two of them into barrels. Maybe this one we can make a barrel. I opted for a vault because I think it just adds a bit more to that whole industrial feel. And let's just do one on that side. I'm wondering if I shouldn't add another redstone contact on this side, just for symmetry's sake. It's not going to have a function. So for symmetry's sake, we're just going to do that. There we go. And then let's make these bolts 3 long like that. And then I think the center, I want to rip out to do something different. So let's do 2 chutes like this and that like that. And now this should be enough to actually get the contraption off the ground. I do believe all of that can be glued together. I might actually rip out these 3 and just move them up 1. And let's just add another vault. There's no harm in that. And we do this one over there and this one over there. Why is this one doing that? It's not supposed to. Let's just try that again. There we go. Yeah. That looks better. Okay. Then harvesters, we're just going to have them on either side like this and like this. So this will just harvest all the flowers and the grass and all of those kind of things, which is perfect. And now what I want to do is I just want to take it up because I actually want the track to run overhead and not on the ground itself. So I'm going to use a contraption. So the best thing might be in line with this because we really just want it to touch. And this is the center. And I don't think it should be too high. What is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 high is good. I think that's perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 6 high. And the reason I made it 1 high is because I want to do copycat panels like so, and then we're going to run the train tracks or the powered rails on top of the copycat panels. So now we just need to run these across. So we've got our copycat panels over there, and then on the edges we just need to do a full block, which I think I might for now just do these. That's fine, let's just do these for now. We'll sort that out later. And let's do the other side. It's just so we can just get this up and going. And then we'll run power rails all along this. Okay, I'll fill that in. But now that we have that, now we can look at how we're going to connect that to the minecart contraption. So we'll have the little assembler sitting over there. And then I added another chute over there. I moved the chute from the side. And now what we can do is we can just right click that with a chute. Right click with a chute on that side. So that gives us almost like a little bit of a claw effect. I wonder if I can do... If we can do shaft. Oh yes, and the shaft can go into those. Okay, that looks cool. That looks cool. So let's do this. So they kind of feel connected. I do like that. But now I'm wondering, can't we make this base look a bit more solid by ripping this out and rather doing this like that? I do like that a lot. And I think we should add some of those over there and just maybe do that. Yeah, that looks like a pretty decent industrial harvester. Now we need to connect it to the top, and I think the best way might just be to run more chutes up there and then to get some form of cover on that. We do some half slabs there, and the texture we give them is this block of industrial iron, and I think that looks pretty cool. So now we need to glue all of this up, see to getting some more powered rails in here and powering up these rails somehow, and then we have a complete machine. So I think I'm gonna get the rails in, glue it all up, and then I'll bring you guys back. It was a mission to get this contraption to go. As you guys can see, there's like a little leather on the side, which was a headache, and also a lot of the chutes and stuff changed their state as soon as this moved, so they disconnected. And I had to change it a bit. I still like it. I still think it looks pretty industrial. It still works like a machine. But yeah, I don't know if I'm happy. I don't know if it needs a bit of work. But we still need to figure out the storage. And before we do that, I think we should actually build the building itself and get a structure in place. And then once that's done, we can easily see where the storage needs to go. So let's do it. Let's do a little build montage. So we currently have shaders on for this part because I think this building looks 100 times better with shaders on. In general, I feel that way about all greenhouse builds. I've done some before. Maybe I'll link it up there. But just look at this build. Let's just get some distance. Oh, I just love this build. I think it looks so cool. I love the combination of glass and the windows and the darker trim and just these little squares that form every now and then. And we use this one as a door. I'm not fond of that door. I'll see if I can find a different one. But apart from that, I love it. And then the gables, I mean, that just looks so cool. With those windows, I just think it adds something to it. And just this minor little detail of the slope in the roof, and then we hide the sloped roof behind it. At the back, it's just been covered up with a lot more dirt just to make it look natural in the environment, and I think it worked out quite well. But let's head on to the inside, and just the roof as well. Just look at all the glass, the like little divisions showing where what goes for what, and I just think it looks quite neat. But anyway, let's go inside. So if we head on in here, inside here we do have the flower farm, and I know there's still a lot of room for decorating, but I maybe want to add to this because we currently don't have a too tall flower farm, and I think I can add one in this area, maybe against one of the walls. I don't know, but it's been running for quite a while, and we've got so many different flowers. I added upgrades to these, and I even voided some of the seeds because that's ridiculous. The seeds I'm going to turn into bone meal as well. So we add some more to it, but let's just quickly go see how much bone meal have we used. We need to push F1. Yeah, we've used about, I would say, a good 7,000 bone meal, which is quite a lot. So I need to find a way to turn off this contraption, and then I'll AFK in this area, just get some more bone meal going. But I don't think we're going to run out of flowers anytime soon. But yes, I love this area. I will add some more lights to it, and I want to do some like hanging shelves in between these columns, like, so we'll have like little spruce shelves hanging down with some more pots on it. But like I said, I first want to see if I can't add a too tall flower farm in here and just sort out this area. But as the sun sets on this area, I would like to say thank you for watching, and do remember, like and subscribe, as it really helped me out a lot. We didn't do any supporter tunnel activities this week, so next week we'll do double the amount of supporters. So if you haven't yet, comment down below, be part of the community, and join the Discord, and maybe you'll end up in the appreciation tunnel next.